Oh, back to the gang. Today I have bad girl, bless us. Big up your bad self.
You know what
Big
it
up
is.
yourself.
Obviously, on the channel.
Cheers. Get your wine.
Tea, water, Fanta,
water or water. If you're a Brit like us.
Coca-Cola, anything.
We want to talk to you guys about being black in Korea. Because it's techie.
It's sticky. It's hard to like put one like overall experience because you encounter really nice people, but you also encounter horrible people.
As anywhere in the world, right?
Anywhere in the world. Living in Korea, I've been living here for 6 months, but I've been visiting Korea on like holiday for the past 4 years. The first two times went bad because it was just like a normal shopping holiday with my sister. And then the last 2 times have been like clubbing experiences. And as a black woman, it wasn't bad because I think I was in the young areas, so people are used to seeing foreigners, they don't feel any sort of way. But living here, especially in our area, you notice it more. People do stare at you, and yeah. So
my experience, this is my first time in Korea. I'm not a K-pop fan, I'm not a K-drama fan. I like K-dramas, but like, I didn't have any prior love for Korea before moving here, so I don't have a bunch of history, whereas you do. Prior to living here, your experiences were positive, that's why you moved.
Yes.
I had lived in Asia before, I'd lived in Thailand, but no 2 countries are the same. So my expectations versus the reality was slightly different. Okay, what would you say your most prominent experiences in your mind, either positive or negative, being black or being a black woman here?
Much negative or positive, it's weird.
Okay.
I especially know that like when I was here on holiday, people would be walking past me going, "What's up? High five, yo!" Like, what is that? When you said that out of your mouth, were you happy? I think that's really weird, and I know they're doing it because I'm black. Or they'll say things like behind us respect. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me.
Like, people assume that we're Americans, so they use like colloquialisms associated with American dialects. Yeah. And they'll do it really loudly as we're walking. Your respect, and then we'll turn around and I'm like, I get it from their side. Maybe they want to be relatable, but then I guess that's when the ignorance factor comes in. Maybe they just don't know. Like, not all black people are American, and not all American people speak in the same way.
Yeah. So there was a time that me and Raina we were on the bus coming back from Gangnam, and like it was really late at night, and this was an 1.5-hour journey, and the bus driver kept on looking at us through the rearview mirror like the whole journey. So
when we first got on, in the first probably 20 minutes, he stopped, like he mentioned, I don't know, I didn't hear him, but he said to the other Korean people on the bus, like, can you tell the people at the back to put their masks on? But we had them on, right? And they were on properly. And so someone in the middle stood up and she was like, can you put your masks on? The driver said, and I was like, what? It was a big bus. Pardon? And she was like, the driver said, can you put your masks on? But our masks are on. She was like, he said that. Okay, Blessing was like, okay. And then, okay, we carried on. The journey continued, but he's looking in his
constantly
mirror.
Instead of him to be focusing on the road and doing
putting
his
everyone
job,
in danger.
he kept on like looking. He kept on looking and then looking and then looking. I was thinking, yeah, what's going on? And we were tired.
Yeah, it's like 12 at night at this point, 11:30, 12.
And then so like it's like in the last 15-20 minutes of the journey, we get near home and it's pitch black, and he just pulls off to the side of the road. He gets out of his little bus driver cubicle, takes his rickety knees to walk to the back of the bus, takes his rickety mouth to say, put on your mask properly, put your mask up to here.
In Korean.
In Korean. Informally, which is quite rude because we're strangers. Forget that he's an old man. we're strangers, whether he thinks we understand Korean or not.
Mm-hmm.
The masks were here. He was telling us to pull it up to wear.
The masks were on properly, yeah.
He stopped the whole
so
bus.
rude, like, and his mannerisms, the way he was speaking to us.
So
and
aggressive.
then there were other people on the bus, they didn't say anything. Everyone was like, they said, what? What's that? What's going on? It was a see no evil, speak no evil situation with them.
As if like nothing was happening on the bus, but like, I think we've said this before, if it was the UK, someone would have been like, mate, they've got their masks on, can you...
No, deep it, like, he stopped the whole bus at 12 at night in the middle of, like, we're close to it, but it's nowhere, right? To tell us, to get out of his cage, walk to the back, to tell us to put masks on that we already had on. How stupid, like, to disrespect people, but he was moving disrespecty.
He was like, oh, never move it down, never move it down. When did you see it move it down?
Oh my god, do you remember when we were going to work in the morning of the month? And then we're just going about our normal morning. 7002. And then it was like a coach. And we're just waiting as per. And he pulled up, opened the doors, and then looked at us and was like, no. And we're like, oh.
And then he asked where we were going, and we said, da 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 da.
Wait. First of all, why would a bus driver need to know where? That doesn't happen here. They don't ask you where you're going. Yeah. And we said where we're going. Obviously, we're just trying to get to work.
He said where we're going. He said no, it doesn't go there. Big man on the side of the bus. It says it in capital letters.
And also, we'd gotten that bus home, so we knew where it went. And then we're like, oh no, we can get this one. And he was like, no,
It doesn't go there.
he closed the doors. We stood at the side like, what just happened?
The thing much you can do, like when I used to say to my parents, I was like obviously I don't feel any way about. I'm proud of being black, but I also don't feel any way about being black because it's what I've been for my whole entire life. So I'm comfortable in it, so I don't feel any sort of way. But I said it's weird because like it's not a disability, but sometimes it feels debilitating.
Debilitating. That's it. That's the one.
But yeah, because people treat you. It's so mad because like I can do all these things and I should be able to get on a bus and just do whatever, and you shouldn't be able to think any sort of way about me because I'm just a normal human being. But it's weird because they see your skin colour and just think you're a certain way, or they just don't want to be near you. I think it's ridiculous. I'm thankful that it's not as bad as like China, the coronavirus, when they're kicking people out of their homes and stuff. But you know, you never know, God forbid. But
it's the accumulation of the small things that make it unpleasant, I think. Like, people getting up from bus stops to move away from us. Like, I was sat yesterday when we were on the bus, there was a free seat next to me. Probably 6 people were stood up. And they didn't need to be because there was a seat next to me. Like, someone could have sat next to me. And I watched them all get on the bus and look at my seat and then look away. And it's just so like, I'd watch everyone else get on, sit down next to people. Get on the bus, look at my seat, and then and it's just like, what do you think I'm gonna do to you? I understand the fear of the unknown. It's just Korean people here, right? I get that, but does common sense not kick in at some point?
I don't know. Like, I feel like obviously there's no way I can relate to them, but it must be something because obviously.
And this is just for racist people in general,
both
or ignorant people.
Growing up in the UK, you've seen mostly you've seen a lot of nationalities. So there's nothing you're like, oh, about. Do you know what I mean? They don't see much. They don't know. It's not an excuse. But
the thing is, I was very aware that moving, like when you move to Asia as a black person, you have to have that in your head already that you're going to be received differently, right? Because you're not the norm. You are literally the abnormal thing in a very normal situation. So already you're alarming. Fine, that one I'd considered already, and I've done it, so that's fine. But it's the way that people perceive, like people just give you dirty looks.
But the umbrella.
There are countless, every single week, people be like looking at you with disgust, and it's like, wow, shame. I'm sorry for you because I even look cute today, and Look, it could only be jealousy. That's it. Last weekend, I had my umbrella in my hand, and a woman, I'm gonna say she walked into it personally.
It was your bag, actually.
Oh, was it my bag?
And then her umbrella got caught in the chain strap, and then she turned around, she looked to her and...
And I was like, oh, oops, we got caught. And then I was trying to detangle it for her, for us. And then she was like, I was so taken aback. Like,
same. It was so, like, the look was, like, disgusting.
Yeah. And that's all it takes. It's those little, like, glances or, like, the way that they treat our counterparts who are not black. And then they'll come to you and then be like, oh, well, this X, Y, and Z applies to this person, but it doesn't apply to you because this. What? You think about what you want to say and then you say it. Does it make sense? I think people need to think more. I don't understand. It's a shame because Korea is so fun to play in. Like, there's so many great things to do here. And saying all of this, we've met some great people too. But like, we're just telling you a tiny bit.
It's not all the time. It's not.
But I feel like it's a lot. In the workplace, I feel like it's a lot, and it's all, in that case, it's integrated. And I think people's subconscious thoughts come through a lot and quickly, and they're just saying stuff. They don't even think it's racist because they just don't even know. They're just saying stuff like, oh, this is ugly, this is pretty, but you're pointing to the black person, you're pointing to the white person, you're saying the black person's ugly.
Or when
we're not the same person, and black people don't look the same. And I think there's definitely lots of preconceived notions about us because we're black, that we have to I feel like we have to counteract them all the time. You may not feel like that, but I feel like we have to be particularly presentable. We feel like that in general as black people, or like as the majority of black people do. But I think especially in Korea, we get penalised for everything. In general, we try to make the most of the situation. I feel like in here during Corona times and moving here during the time that we have done has probably changed how people receive us more, because people are scared of foreigners in general, because of the virus. I think that foreigners are bringing the virus in, right? Which isn't true.
No, and like it's not just vulnerable at all, because I'm sure black Americans aren't doing it either. Because you know, all in the news how about people in America not wearing masks or doing anything. So, and when they see us, they just assume that we're American people.
So I think that's just a case of ignorance, but we try to approach it with an open mind. But people can only receive you how they want to receive you at the end of the day. Like, we can only do our part on our end. I guess we'll wrap it up because so many things have happened, but we can't think of them right now. But if we think of them, we'll come back with a part 2 if you guys want to see that. And thank you for Blessing for being in this video. We're gonna have another one, or it would have come out already, with our experience with guys here. So stay tuned for that. And see you in the next one.